I had a question on a recent video that reads, and I quote, "In hindsight, do you think the boys on Complexity made the right call by moving to North America? Compared to Furia, Complexity has less tournament in it." Take two. Compared to Furia, Complexity has less tournament earnings, about a $20,000 difference, but they have probably more salary and notoriety. What are your thoughts? And I figured that question would be a great way to start off with another Sunday Q&A video. We're going to talk about that one and provide some history to the Complexity versus True Neutral situation against Furia and staying in South America, as well as answer some others. And if you guys would like to have some of your question answered, two ways you can do it. Number one, come over to the stream, twitch.tv/Lawler, where you can see these lovely folks try to watch me not mess up live as I record these videos. You can answer in chat, and I will try to pick some from chat. And the second way, by leaving comments down below. If you see one you like, make sure you guys give it a like. Those then go to the top, and I do my best to answer those as long as we can give good conversation with them. But we alternate back and forth. So with that said, let's jump over to the next screen and focus in on the first one. So, as a reiteration, Complexity moves to NA. For those that are unaware, the team of True Neutral, which used to be actually Furia before they swap seed and went to I think they lived in what, Cancun or something like that, outside Cancun, and then they got picked up by Complexity, then they moved to Dallas, all that kind of stuff. Complexity team is doing just fine. The kind of conversation around it is you are talking a team that was, yes, the best in South America, which is now as competitive as it is. There's no guarantee that Complexity / True Neutral was still going to stay at the top. There's no guarantee that they were going to win everything like they used to, and who knows what earnings would have been. Arguably, I can say with them being with Complexity, $20,000 is nothing. I can guarantee you they're probably making that up just fine over their contract. The difference now that as a team, they are more competitive. They're getting better like competition, and they're actually competing for what matters, which at the end of the day is going to a world championship and competing against the best in the world. And I would argue that the ability to compete against NA every single week through scrims and through hard work, through tournaments and all that kind of stuff is significantly better than staying and only playing within your region. Not to diminish South America by any means. I think SAM is a super competitive region. There's a ton of depth. They're like qualifying matches to go to the spring, winter, fall split majors comes down to like the last regional almost every single time. It's the difficulty when you can only send two teams, but it's super competitive. Like the grand finals match usually determines who goes. It's amazing. So there's no guarantee that they would have been at the top anyway. Many would believe that, yes, very talented team, but you're talking tournament prize pool. Complexity's still doing pretty well, even though prize pools are now the same, 100K a piece for every regional and everything. Then going into the majors, obviously they've been able to represent in one of them for North America, but primarily, I think they have a better chance actually of competing consistently against the best of the best in North America, as well as getting to compete in a region that has 5 spots instead of 2. And they're probably making a boatload more money with a high profile company in Complexity. So that organization is treating them very well. Took care of their visa issues. They're now living in Dallas. I think it's a crazy opportunity. I mean, esports careers are already short-lived. And now you're talking, you get the ability to live in a different country for, who knows how many years or how many seasons. That is life experience and memories you'll never forget. So at the grand scheme of things, while it may not lead to the most successful accomplishment, you still have the ability to like look back at your life and be like, wow, I can't believe we actually did that. So pretty crazy stuff. Pretty crazy stuff. So I love this question. I think it's really cool, but 100%, I think if you ask the True Neutral guys if they would do it again, 100 out of 100 times they'd be like, yes, without a doubt. So I think they're very happy about their situation, even though the tournament earnings are a little bit lower. I'm sure in salary, NA salaries go boom. So I think they're doing okay. Next question comes from Hados Plays. It says, do you think it's beneficial for orgs looking to get into Rocket League to sign a team for a minor region that has a good chance of going to a major, or just placing well within the region, opposed to waiting for months or years to pick up a team from NAU that has a top 5 chance? The beauty of Rocket League is there is no guarantee that a team is going to be good. While we can look throughout history and be like, this team has shown consistently that they are the best, NRG, there is times that meta shifts happen, and while you have been at the top for a year and a half with your current starting roster, 3 world championship players, ton of history, you've got a guy who's never missed a world championship LAN until spring. Sometimes stuff happens and they don't make it. there is two sides to it. The top tier rosters in RLCS, they're not for sale. There has been 7-figure buyouts offered for some of the top tier teams, and they will not give up their spot. It's not going to happen. For organizations right now, their best bet is to either A, go to a minor region, show some love and support, probably get a pretty cheap salary, and get a chance to go to the major. Looking at you, Kansas City Pioneers, smart play. Looking at you, Veloce, also smart play. At the end of the day, it's a business, trying to earn a profit. And if you can get your name on the main stage, get people talking about you, you're doing your job. A lot of people may dislike the way that they treated their previous teams and kind of like pump and dumped. And they're just like, okay, goodbye, next. And then KCP then comes in. But at the end of the day, like as a business, like that's what they have to do. They have to make the right choice to make sure that more people recognize them. And arguably, KCP earned a lot of fans because of going to OCE. I mean, heck, Power, why Lachlan didn't stick with OCE #1 in the first place, I have no idea either. So again, there's a lot of risks that come involved with doing these types of things. And there is always that potential of like Kansas City Pioneers originally, or no, Pittsburgh Knights. Pittsburgh Knights originally was like, yo, this Peeps team looked like they could be good. Should we pick them up? And I'm like, heck yeah. And then they do. And then they win a major. No guarantee that's going to happen. Team shortly disbands. PK has made 2 regionals this entire year now. It's tough. Playing in Rocket League at a high level is super tough. So do you go with the high investment that maybe has a little bit more like a better chance? Like you pick up a top 16 team. It's going to be a little bit more expensive. Maybe it works out in a major region. Or do you go with a minor region and hope that, you know, they get one of those 2 spots and comes through? There's no right answer. There's no easy answer. I do not envy the teams that have to do that, because not only is it a huge investment, running an esports org is one of the easiest ways to lose your money in this space, but it's also just super difficult. It's so difficult. So I don't think there is a right answer, but I do think it's a fun conversation. Joey asking, am I going to do vlogs for London and Worlds? I am not a vlogger, my guy. I will try to do some behind the scenes stuff on my Instagram. If you guys want to follow me for behind the scenes stuff and things I'm doing, socials for all my stuff down below, but I don't really do vlog content. I actually have like videos on my phone from Sweden, 2017 with Wavepunk, of us just hanging out in the hotel room in Sweden. And I still haven't put that stuff out. And that's from 5 years ago. So I don't really do the whole vlog stuff. It feels really weird. Maybe I'll get better at it in the future. I've done a couple videos where I talk about out in public and stuff, but I'm not really about it. But if you guys do want to see behind the scenes stuff, like anytime I take photos, videos of what's going on and stuff, Instagram's kind of the place I do it. I think it's really easy to just click story, record for 5 seconds, and then be like, hey, this is what's going on. So I don't really do vlog stuff. So probably not, unless a bunch of you in the comments tell me to, then maybe I'll consider it. But who knows? I don't know if I'd be a good vlogger. Fuchs says, hey, really appreciate the fantastic content you put out every day. Appreciate the kind words. I'd be really interested in what you think the RL community on YouTube could need / lacks regarding content. So I think right now in particular, Rocket League just lacks the ability to make content. The game itself doesn't really provide us much to work with. So it is up to the creativity of those content creators. If I had the answer, I would do it. I'm also limited to certain things. I think the more story-based content is what I want to get into. I want to do like the history of True Neutral and like do in-depth interviews and all that. Like that stuff takes a lot of time and resource, but that's kind of stuff I want to get into. But the reality of it is limitations. So is what it is. But that's I want to get into more story-based content personally. That's what I want to do. This question has to do with casual playlist that doesn't utilize any form of SM or SBMM matchmaking rating pretty much. I would enjoy it if it would allow less experienced players a chance to see how higher ranks play. They'll never do that. The difficulty is they want to make sure that the gaming environment, the play that you have, is not just a dumpster fire. Like if you load into a game and just absolutely bodied, it's a huge deterrent for new players. So I doubt they'll ever get into that. With the voice chat feature, I do think there's a little bit better opportunity, but I think if you're doing that, you're better off playing in tournaments and doing that, because then tournaments are going to be a bit more competitive. And you should be playing with people that are slightly in the same range, but possibly better than you. And the environment itself will help a little bit more. It gives you something to work towards. But for casual playlists, the whole point of casual playlists is to make it as friendly as an experience as possible, not to be like a complete like one-sided affair. So probably not. What's my long-term opinion on Rocket League's next seasons? Where will they go from here competitively? What about rank rewards? So long-term opinion on Rocket League's next seasons. I don't know what they're going to do for like themes or battle pass or rocket pass or any of that kind of stuff. I think it also all depends on when Unreal Engine 5 comes out. There's this weird balance for Rocket League right now where not only are they trying to make stuff for the old client, but also still trying to develop and make the new client. I think we got a taste of that. While they did make a brand new game mode in Knockout Bash, which I think was very successful, it really missed the mark with Potato Car Nomad and the oversaturated update for Neo Tokyo and everything. The pass itself, items wise, was kind of like eh. So there's a lot of people that like they missed the mark on a lot of things, but the time allocated in the new game mode, I hope is a learning experience for them. So I'm hoping in the future, new game modes, very unique custom game modes, I think excites a lot of people about this game. There's a lot of content you can make around it. I think with voice chat too, that is a big thing for a lot of people. Maps and arenas and stuff, I think we are, and I have been on a firm side of the standard part of Rocket League does get a bit stale after a while, especially when there's no car uniqueness, there's no map uniqueness. The game is game, same time every single time. So the one thing you have to nail is the visual aspect of these arenas. You need to make them feel really compelling, which hasn't been there in a bit. So I think that's difficult. I hope Rocket Labs continues to put out more unique maps. Like they had the corridor one, and they had the weird one with the outside walls that were angled downwards. Like, where have those been? We haven't seen those in a while. So they've got to find a way to dip their toes into unique stuff more than just the same old cargo burr you play 3v3 2v2 same as same. So the competitive scene is heavily carrying, I think, Rocket League as a whole, but there's also a lot of people that haven't played Rocket League or been around Rocket League as long as I have, so their opinion may differ. But from what I've seen for new seasons and stuff, I think they just got to make sure that they learn from what happened. As for the rewards, I don't know, there's only so much you can do. Maybe banners again. It's been a long time since we've seen banners. Who knows? I get this question so much. Will NRG do a roster change? Guys, no. NRG has been a top team in North America for like a year and a half, ever since they picked up Squishy last year. This is the first time they have not been a dominant number 1, number 2 team in a very long time. It's going to take time to discover and develop new play style. Takes, on average, most coaches say 2 to 3 months. If they still struggle at the World Championship, which they will be at, whether it be a wild card or a main event in groups right away, we don't know. We have to wait for spring. It is going to be determining results there. If they still struggle really hard, who knows? Maybe during the offseason, they do tryouts for other players and they find out, hey, this player that we were trying out isn't a good fit anyway. It doesn't matter. We're better off not changing. Like, there's so many things behind the scenes that they're probably trying to figure out and determine. But the last thing I think they should do right now is a roster change. This is the first time that they're facing that adversity of, hey, the thing we've been doing for a long time isn't working. Time to make some adjustments. We'll see how those adjustments go. If we still have problems, then we'll go back to the drawing board. So they'll figure it out from there. With V1 popping off, do you think it's likely that we'll get a LAN in Minnesota? Team results and performances have zero matter into where LAN is located. LAN location is due entirely off of ease of travel. Can they support it? Do they have the venue for it? Things of that nature. So while many local people like myself, who is only a 4 or 5 hour drive from Minnesota, which would be very easy to attend LAN, that has literally nothing to do with if they go there or not. I will say that the Midwest is starting to get a little bit better at about supporting like LANs and stuff. I will say Chicago isn't a terrible idea, and Minneapolis isn't a terrible idea. You could do some really cool thing. US Bank Stadium has done many an event, and like the X Games, you could do some pretty cool stuff in Minnesota. I would also like a LAN in Canada. Canalan, Lanada, whatever you want to call it. I'm up for either, but I think a LAN in Canada would be super cool. Whether it be Vancouver, Ontario, Toronto, any of those, I'm down. Brandon, now that the season is starting to wrap up, what's your overall take on the season's formats? I've done many a format talk on this channel. I'm a firm believer that the best format is you keep consistency from split to split, so it is groups the whole time, or single elim the whole time, or double. Like, you keep a similar like overarching format. My opinion is groups into single elimination. What the group stage itself is can change. So you can do like round robin groups into single elimination, double elimination groups into single elimination, twist groups into single elimination. Change what's in the group itself, but Groups into single elim. You need to make these matches not have so many extra lives. Each regional is your life and make up. So that is the way I feel about it. But again, there's got to be some consistency so it's easy to follow. You also have to make sure that there's not so many things going on to where people are getting burnt out, both viewer and competitor. So again, I assume Psyonix is going to go back to the drawing board. They're going to take what they learned from this split, and then they're going to be like, okay, do we consolidate a little bit more? We got rid of the grid. Was that still not enough? Do we scale back a little bit? How do we want to do this? Those types of things really, really matter for them when it comes to how to approach it. But my opinion, groups into single elim, change what's in the groups to weed out the teams. Single elim, make it cutthroat. Here we go. I think Swiss into single elim is probably one of the best formats you could have. I love it. Absolutely love it. I also really like the World Championship format because there is so many teams competing. They go Swiss into double elimination, cut that in half, and then they go to single elim. I honestly think it's a phenomenal format with that many teams. If you have less teams, like 16, it wouldn't work. I really do like the Worlds format to make sure the best teams are making it through. So, have I seen the prize pool for Saudi E-League? I do know that Gamers 8 is a $2 million prize pool for the event coming up. Winner takes $500K, which is just shy of the $2.085 million prize pool for the World Championship. So, pretty nuts. This is going to be the last question for the video. This one comes from Zachary Klein, and I'm going to give you a very abrupt answer. I don't know if you're going to like it. Zachary Klein asks, if RLCS never made the switch to the circuit-based system in RLCS X and continued in a weekly league play system, what do you think the competitive scene would look like right now? Abso-fucking-lutely dead. You're telling me a system where teams only play once or twice a week max, and that determines if you go to the World Championship and the playoffs and all that kind of stuff? It would be so bad. Talking about grass is greener on the other side, this is the case where it is 1000% true. You're telling me in the past you would play a league play system. Maybe they expand it, okay? Hear me out. Maybe they expand league play to 16 teams like it was in the grid in the final split of RLCSX. You do double round robin league play. Each team plays each other twice throughout the season, so you have barely 18 matches. Or no, is that even right? 14 matches. You're telling me 14 matches is enough to go to the playoffs? And then you play 2-3 matches to see if you do well, you go to the World Championship, and that's it? Versus now, some of these teams are playing 8 series a week, every other week. You're giving people the ability with this new format, whether you are a no-name team that has a heroic underdog story run, or you're the guys that have been there, done that. In the past, if you were a team that was a bubble team, you're talking teams that were ranked 11 to 20, you got a chance to play against the top tier teams once every 6 months. And by top tier, I mean the worst of the best teams. Like if we pull up the ranks right now, say you're a crew, right? A crew, a new team that recently got picked up. They've kind of been here and there. They've been a little bit all over, right? Every 6 months, the best team you get to play is Ghost Gaming and Rogue. The best. You never get exposed to G2. You never get exposed to FaZe, NRG, Space Station, V1. Never get exposed to it. And these teams are never going to scrim you either because they don't think you're worthwhile. They think it's a waste of time. They don't think there's any point in spending time on you. And the entire region as a whole just does not get better. We saw how much better Rocket League as a whole has come to be, and it's because of this new format. Straight up. It exposes teams to new play styles, whether you are on the receiving end of getting better or otherwise. Teams like G2 got to go up against Pittsburgh Knights, who we've seen twice in the entire year, and they almost lose to them. That's the beauty of this circuit-based system. Everybody has a chance every 2 weeks, where in the past it was every 6 months. So you ask me, what would it look like? I think our scene would be dead. I think if you played this much Rocket League like we are right now, every other week, oh, people would be so bored. I got tired of watching, G2 Energy, etc., play each other every single time, every single week. We saw people who were upset at, based upon the seeding that the same teams are playing each other within circuit. It's even worse with a league play-based system. It'd be horrible. The only way you could maybe savor it is if you expanded how many teams, but even that just feels like a Band-Aid. It'd be horrible. We'd be missing out on so many names up and coming. Like, we wouldn't see Liquid playing this week. It just wouldn't be a thing. We would still have to wait for this new iteration of Liquid, who just took second last regional. Crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff. That's going to wrap it, though, for Q&A. Great questions from start to finish. A lot of things being discussed, but obviously we can't always get to them all. If I missed your question, don't be afraid to resubmit it. Don't be afraid to come over to the chat throughout the rest of the week and ask. Twitch.tv/LAWL. We stream every day but Tuesday and Sunday. My stream is basically a podcast. We sit and talk, and you guys define what the heck we talk about. It's pretty great. So, with that said, appreciate you guys all being here. If you guys enjoy the content, thumbs up, subscribe, notifications, and let me know any other questions down below, or stop by the stream, and we'll see you next time. Peace.